What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What IFS, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened, we reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What IFS. All right, welcome back to Hip Hop What IFS, the show where we talk about all the different what ifs within hip hop culture. Kyle, how you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Glad to be back on here talking a little hip hop like we always do, man. Like we always
Shout out
do.
to Dolomite, man. He's been getting mad love from the last episode of Nipsey Hussle. If you have not listened, go back and check it out. Like, I mean, it was almost like we just rolled the ball out. It felt like on that one, Kyle, and just let him shoot.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It was. I mean, I've done a handful of episodes of Dolomite, man. And again, that's my boy. We talk every day. But yeah, on a subject like that, he was perfect for it because it was right up his wheelhouse, and he was able to tap in. If you ever get a chance too, he did an episode.
The Victory Lap. I went back and watched that.
Okay, yeah. So that was dope. Just hearing like firsthand, being right there in LA, you know, the day that Nipsey passed, so or the week that he passed. But yeah, shout out to Dolomite again for coming through, man. We gotta get him back on again for sure.
Yeah, man. We gotta get him back on, man. He had people on Twitter upset about the comment about Snoop.
I mean, but that's real though.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's somebody. He's somebody who's big hip hop fan, and you know, right there, born and raised in LA. I mean, well, Compton, I should say. But but no, it's like to them, yeah. I mean, Snoop is the biggest star. I mean, like Snoop is everywhere. Snoop is
the biggest stars in the world, not just
one of the biggest stars in the world, one of the most recognizable faces in the world, and he came a long way from being Calvin Brodus, the former gangbanger who was on trial for murder at one point. And so he's come a long way, and now he's lovable, and everybody likes Snoop. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody. A lot of people like Snoop. Some people don't, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
But you get my point. So he's who he is. But as far as legacy and impact and influence, yeah, it's Nipsey all day.
Yeah, I mean, and he was giving some great points, man.
Yeah.
Some great points. But let's jump into our topic of the evening. This one is, what if Houston became the Mecca of Southern hip hop and not Atlanta? Actually, I thought about this one because this topic, because I was like, Atlanta's been running hip hop, I mean, effortlessly, probably 20 years, maybe?
20 years, easy, yeah.
20 years straight. I guess the first question would be, do you think they still run hip hop now in 2025, 2026? Or is it just a more gourmet, like kind of jambalaya of just whoever? Because we don't have no regional sounds no more.
Well, I think. Well, let me start by saying I'm biased, right? I live in Atlanta. I've been here since 1997, so I've actually been a part of and witnessed this city's growth as far as hip hop. Like when I came here, Atlanta literally and figuratively was a baby in hip hop. There was a movement, there was a sound, or sounds, I should say, but Outkast was just really starting to pop. Jermaine Dupri was already rolling, but the likes of Kilo Ali, Raheem the Dream, those were guys who were more like local artists that were still were hot in the city, but nationally they weren't there. And some of them never made it nationally, to be honest. But so I'm a little biased when it comes to this, but I've also understood, and the first hip hop acts from the South that I heard was the Geto Boys. And so I think right now, I would say, yeah, that Atlanta probably still has the major grip on hip hop, but LA is right there. LA is right there. Houston has always been there in the mix. The South in general has, had a stranglehold on hip hop for the better part of the last 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
I mentioned it on one of my episodes that, it's over for New York, and it's been over for New York for a while. Can New York come back? I know. I don't think it's not. Well, if it could come back because, things go in cycles, but I think the thing for New York, for it to come back to New York, it won't be the way that we remember it, because you and I are tenured in hip hop, where we remember hip hop from its infancy. And so the 88, 89, 90s hip hop from New York, that era is never coming back. That Jay-Z era, that Rockefeller era, that 50 Cent era, that era is never coming back. But I will say this much, to your point, to your original question, you can make a case that, Houston's right there and have been there for a long time. But I think as far as influence and hip hop in general, as far as the culture is concerned, I think it still is Atlanta. And again, I'm biased.
Yeah, it's interesting that you think. I don't think there's any region or city that has it on lock. I think it's just nobody. I don't even know where you're from anymore. It'd be people like, oh wow, you're from Boise, Idaho. Mm-hmm. You sound like you're from Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, and people can't. I mean, that's a great point, and nobody can really dispute it because, like you said, there's no regional sound. When we came up, you sounded like somebody from New York didn't try to sound like they were from Atlanta. Somebody from Atlanta didn't try to sound like they were from St. Louis. Somebody from St. Louis didn't sound like they were from Detroit or Chicago. So it's all about that and having that type of balance. And so, like you said, now, especially with the advent of the internet, it's not even really about regions, because you and I remember a time where if you were from certain regions in the country, you couldn't get airplay, just witnessing what Nelly did for your city, mm-hmm. The explosion of country. People can say what they want about Country Grammar. The thing about it was when it blew, he got a lot of pushback as far as trying to get airplay in other places. But he sold like 10 million records, so somebody was playing him. You know what I mean? So no matter how you felt about his music, the same for the likes of Outkast here and so forth and so on. Like it took, you had to pop in your city first, and then you could expand. We saw the same thing in Houston, like you said, with the Geto Boys, and then later on right there with Rap A Lot, and then later on with the UGK and the likes of those guys like that. But you had to dominate your city first, establish basically a foundation, a hip hop foundation in your city. And so what happened was, the internet now, like you said, you could be from, West Carolina mm-hmm. and it don't matter.
And I don't know who you are.
Right. Right.
And where you're from. Not who you are, but where you're from. Like, normally, but man, he sound like he's from Detroit. Right. He got that Detroit sound to him because his beats are this, or even if his style isn't like a definitive, it's like, okay, that sound like that's from the South just because of the way it's flowing. Oh, that sound like that's some New Orleans stuff.
Right.
Like
I remember hearing Pop Smoke for the first time, and I was like, who is this guy? Where's he from? I was like, because it was like he's from New York. I was like, he is? I was like, he don't sound like he's from New York to me, but
no. Not at all. I was like, oh, and then it's like, oh, New York drill, like, oh,
yeah. Never
New
really
York drill. Oh man, it's just drill rap, and it comes from Chicago. Like that should be end of the discussion.
Right. But and that goes back to something we always talked about coming up, as far as like being original and having an original sound. Like there was an era where you couldn't sound like somebody from someplace else. You couldn't sound like anybody. You had to sound like yourself. If you sounded like somebody else, then you were a biter. That was never accepted in hip hop.
Yeah, so let's tick it off. Houston, Texas. Technically, I feel like it's like a weird thing with the Houston Atlanta thing with this discussion, because Houston arguably has the first Southern rap group to cross over with the Geto Boys.
Mm-hmm.
And the first rap group that had the first rap group with a first rap label too,
right?
With Rap A Lot Records,
right?
Unless there may be some crossover there. I need to look with Luke Campbell records, with Luke records somewhere in there, but that's a different sound. That Miami bass sound is a different thing, and that wasn't going to take over. That you needed, and no disrespect to any Miami rappers that are bass rappers then, and they probably would tell you that 69 Boys wasn't going to like or 95 South or was not going to like be definitive for your rappers from there. Like you start getting Miami rappers. Wow, when did you start getting like real mainstream? What, JT Money?
That was like early, maybe mid 90s, around that time.
I'm thinking like JT Money,
Poison Clan.
Yeah, those. But that early 90s bass sound, that was just a nice, good music to rap. Like you needed some MCs to maybe stamp and say your city is doing something. And you got you have, and the funny thing is you have arguably one of the best rappers of all time coming out of there. And Scarface, you got Willie D, Bushwick Bill.
Rest in peace.
And because the original Geto Boys was like 7 people or something, I believe. Like it was a big group, the original Geto Boys.
They put them together. They weren't even they didn't even know each other. They were from different parts of Houston, and they were literally put together. I want to say, was it by Jay Prince?
It's by Jay Prince. So it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was 9 people, 8 people originally in the Geto Boys.
Yeah, they was Wu-Tang.
Yeah, they had a lot of people in the original Geto Boys.
Wow.
And their first album was in '88, Making Trouble.
Yep.
And in that one, they added Willie D and Scarface to the group originally. Originally, it was just Bushwick Bill, Ready Red, Sergio, and Prince Johnny C. Then Scarface and Willie D came in after that for this album. So their first album was that. Then they dropped 89, Gripping on the Other Level.
Gripping on the Other Level. Man, I love that shit.
I believe the big hit off of here was Let a Hoe Be a Hoe. I believe.
Gotta let a hoe be a hoe.
which was crazy back then, man. But we got a guest, man. Houston representative, man. Part of SOC Network, Simply Champagne. He is a champagne connoisseur. My man Cornelius Anthony, man. What is going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
Hey, you got a little bit of static in your background, man.
Hold on, hold on. Give me just a second.
So as he gets his stuff correct here, grip it. I think it is Hoes Be a Hoe. Let a hoe be a hoe.
Gotta let a hoe be a hoe.
And then the breakout album is the next one, I think. The Geto Boys album.
Yep.
Talking Loud, Saying Nothing was one of them on there that was big. And at this time, Scarface had left the group. That was the weirdest thing about the Geto Boys. Like their lineup changes were like ridiculously weird. Like it was like he'd jump in, then like he not in the group, you in the group, then he wasn't. Then Scarface comes back for the big one, the big crossover one. We Can't Be Stopped.
Can't Be Stopped. Yeah.
With Mind Playing Tricks on Me in '91.
Yep.
And the classic album cover is Bushwick Bill.
With the gunshot after he got shot in the face.
Crazy.
They decided to put the album cover is this man is shot himself in the eye.
On a gurney.
Let's make it the
on
album
a gurney. R.I.P. man.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Definitely.
R.I.P. to a legend.
Yeah, so no, Cornelius, we was talking about it. So we was getting into Houston rap and how Houston rap was ahead of Atlanta at one point just by having solid rappers coming out of there at that point with the Geto Boys and a actual label on the ground.
Right.
Because Atlanta's first label is it technically LaFace in general?
I would say hip hop wise. I would say LaFace.
And LaFace is not even. I don't even look. I mean, I don't know. LaFace is. I don't look at LaFace as a rap label, even though they are.
I don't know. Was that before
Baby
Death when they were doing the bass tape?
Yeah, they were. LaFace was out before So Def, but if you want to talk about just strictly rap labels, then it would be So Def. But you know, LaFace signed Outkast. They signed TLC.
That's what changed it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, because they had. I mean, you got to think they had TLC. They had what was the group? Dame and their first group they signed is called Dame or something. Damian and Dame. Damien and Dane.
Mm-hmm.
That's their first group they signed. And tragically, both of them passed away like in the 90s, which is crazy. Damien, and Tony Braxton, TLC were their first artists on LaFace, and then Usher, I believe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's before Outkast. That's all before Outkast and Goody Mob. And really, let's just say for real, LaFace is really just Dungeon Family, like a Dungeon
Family. It was really Dungeon Family's label.
Yeah, it's a Dungeon Family imprint. It might as well have been Dungeon Family / LaFace / Arista. Like that's what it should have been on the billing. So from your perspective, Cornelius, with Houston rap, with Geto Boys, when you saw the Geto Boys, how does Houston look at the Geto Boys as a whole, as a part of Houston rap culture?
I mean, like, you know, well, first off, I'm an STLian. I'm
You're
from
St. Louis by trade.
I'm St. Louis by trade. I've been in Houston since 2009, but I'm a hip hop head, and I've been here, you know, going almost 20 some years. And, I mean, they're kind of like the OG, you know, the OGs of like Houston hip hop scene. You know, when you see Scarface, one thing I will say about Houston culture, hip hop culture that I love here is that you see them out every day, grocery store, gas station, church, restaurant. You know, they are not, we don't really see them as celebrities. You know, we just see them as everyday brothers and people who are just influential, just happen to be in the hip hop lane. Like, you know, Sundays, if you want to see anybody in Houston hip hop, whether it's past, present, you know, just come out on Sunday, you would definitely run into Eric from Slim Thug to Bun B. You know, you go to Trill Burger, you'll see Bun B.
Yep.
You know, shout out to him. He just opened one, maybe like 5 minutes from my house. So thank God for that. I don't have to go all the way into the city now. Because it's really, really good. I love Trill Burger.
Yeah, they are.
You had a Trill Burger, Kyle?
Yeah, I told you I lived in Houston for a year.
Right, you did. Yes.
Yeah, I was in Houston for a year.
Yeah,
I was there the first week that it opened.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's actually the original one is actually like 5 minutes from my job.
Yeah, on Shepherd, right?
Yeah, right on Shepherd. Exactly. Right on Shepherd. And then he just opened one. He opened one on the north side, and he just opened one in Missouri City.
Okay.
And that's when I'm close. That's when I'm close to by Hightower High School. So
gotcha.
But in regards to the Geto Boys, they're kind of like the most respected like OG group. You know, Willie D is still like Willie D. He's just older. You know, he still got them hands. Like, you know, you do not want to play with Willie. Trade too? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he used to be a boxer.
Yep.
So, you know, nobody talks to Willie D crazy. You know, his podcast is doing really, really well. They're very mature in, like, you know, their aspect of the game, and they treat it as such. I will say, in regards to talking about the difference between Atlanta and Houston culture, is that as influential as screw music was, there was never an influential style of music such as trap music or crunk music. Screw music was always going to be more of a regional type thing.
Yes.
I never would see Screw's music being something that you could play in like LA or on the West Coast. Maybe certain pockets of the Midwest, never on the East Coast at all. They would never get into it. Maybe Virginia probably may be the highest, and even certain pockets of that. But crunk music and trap music was always something that, you know, that went nationwide. But I will say, as far as culturally, it's had just as much impact as Atlanta has, as far as like cars, dress, slang, you know, just the whole way that Houston people talk and how our dynamic is. Like, Houston really now is like Atlanta. If you come to Houston now, Houston really now feels like Atlanta in like the early 2000s.
Facts.
Yeah, so this is my thing within this hip hop what if thing of like within Houston. Is Houston did not, I guess the first part of this question, or first part of this discussion, is more of why Houston wasn't able to become a hip hop staple like Atlanta was able to, considering that they have not were its largest city at one point. They had all these different demographical things going for them. But, and I'm going to answer my question and give it to you all. I wonder if is Atlanta bigger because of the New York amount of people that moved down there more than New Yorkers moving to Houston in the early 90s and late 80s?
I don't know, man. I mean, I hate to say it, but like for me personally, and just my opinion about it, I think Houston became its own worst enemy. Rap-A-Lot was great, but Rap-A-Lot also was a detriment to hip hop growth in Houston because from a mainstream standpoint, because a lot of y'all understand, like a lot of these artists, like Houston, like local fame artists, let me start from this standpoint. A lot of local Houston mainstream artists died, like in their prime. Like literally died in their prime. They didn't die like
Fat Pat,
Hawk, Big Mo. I remember when Big Mo, they played Bar Baby on 106 in Park for like new artists, and they were looking, Terrence J were looking like, yeah, okay, on to number 6, number 6 song. I mean, it was a lot of that, and
Pimp
a lot
C,
of
obviously.
Yeah, Pimp C. Houston's it's a gift and a curse. I think that Rap-A-Lot was great for Houston hip hop, but also was a detriment also because it was like they were really the only label, because Tony Draper, when he was doing with Swisher House, you know, that kind of fell apart. Swisher House really came on in 2005, but that was still more of a
The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
Local scene. And the thing people don't understand about Texas is that when these artists in Texas, you can go platinum in Texas by itself.
Yeah.
They don't really caring about selling nationwide. If they get Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin, they're like, man, we good. They not really trying to make music for like, you know, the nationwide scene. Like Houston really didn't get like national scale out after the Geto Boys. After the Geto Boys kind of died down, Face always did his thing. But like as far as city and culture standpoint, when 2005 came out and when Swisher House and Mike Jones, Paul Wall, Slim Thug, once they came out, Slim Thug was on Universal when he came out with the Neptunes.
Yep.
Mike Jones and Paul Wall, they were on Swisher House, you know, with what's the song they came out with in 2005?
Still Tipping.
Yep. All those were and that song actually had been out for like I think like a whole year before. That was actually the remix. That wasn't even the original of it. That was the real remix of it. And they don't know what that star about. So like a lot of artists here, they never was really on like some let's go national. It just happened to be that way. So they were like, man, if we just be great in Texas, man, we gonna be good. And and that's always has and always still is kind of like the mindset outside of Atlanta. I don't think Houston artists really got pushed on a national scale like Atlanta's artists always have been.
Is it because a Houston artist wanted to be? Because and this is just something my observation, especially back like you went to school, people from Texas. They were cool just like a lot this being in Texas. Like they didn't want to like leave Texas like at all. Is that part of Houston's issues? What is like, yo, I'm popping in Houston. I don't gotta really even go do this show in Kansas City or whatever, or do this and do that. I'm just gonna stay popping here.
I mean, I guess, I mean, actually, it's like I just said, like, you can go platinum in Texas by itself.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, not saying they're not open to doing shows outside of Texas. But their biggest thing is like, if I can just sell Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, man, I'm good. Like I'm straight. I can sell 1 million between those 4 cities, and I'll be perfectly fine. Now if they are open, I guess it's kind of like Pimp said. They weren't worried about going to New York. Like they listened to the OGs who like went up there and got booed and dealt with all that. Like they wasn't trying to deal with all that. And like even as far as like even like with rollouts, like the rollouts they have now, like, you know, Slim, I would say now from a modern standpoint, Slim is kind of like paved the way as far as like strictly like being independent, you know, and everybody kind of followed that. Like nobody here is really on like has like a major label besides Meg. Meg is with Rock Nation.
Right.
But outside of her, everybody is really doing their own independent thing, which is different between here and Atlanta. Atlanta is more of a syndicate based thing, where Houston is more of a get it out the mud. You know, you trapping, we gonna put this money behind you, and you gonna make this bread for us. It's more of an independent style here in Houston.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. And just to piggyback off what you said, like I think to answer your question, D, I think what it was the timing of it. Right. I think you had the push of the Geto Boys, and then there was a lull as the Geto Boys kind of were cooling off a little bit, and then UGK was bubbling. And like you said, you had Swisher House, and then, you know, which would come later, and you had Suave House, which would come a little bit later after that. I think there was just a little lull, and to his point, you know, they were really, really concerned about dominating Houston and Texas overall, because, you know, having, like I said, I lived there for a year, and like the thing that I realized is being there is that, like, you know, it's very divided, just like any other city, but it's very divided as far as like maybe the North don't really fuck with the South, and the South don't fuck with the North like that. And so, and I found that out really quick. And so, I found that out like the first week I was there. I was like, oh, okay, it's like that. Like, but the thing is too, like when it comes to hip hop, during that particular time, it was really about being regional. You just cared about your region. But where it shifted for Atlanta was when Cass started to take off, because like the you can look at even at the dichotomy between Outkast and Goody Mob, same crew, same production, but you saw one take off and one take off, but not as high. And Goody Mob Goody Mob has been, you know, they put out great music, but they'll never be what their big brothers are in Outkast. And so, but what you saw was in that particular time in the city, we started having Outkast over here. Then you had, you know, Ludacris came down and he was here. Then you had T.I. Then you had the next wave. And so like when that 2003, 2000 to 2005 wave from Houston came, Atlanta had already had a couple of steps on them.
Oh yeah, they'd already was concerned.
So by that time, that was the Jeezy. That was Gucci Mane. T.I. All of those got that wave, and then the next wave was, you know, the Futures and whoever else that ever came out of Atlanta that was rapping.
Yeah, with the Migos. It'd be the Migos. Yeah,
Migos. Like, and I mean, like, so that was that next wave, that wave of Migos and Future and those guys, that propelled Atlanta even, because now you're talking about culture. You ain't even talking about music no more. Right. And so it was, I don't even think that it was Houston's fault or they did anything wrong, because they had dope music coming out of it. I mean, like it was crazy. But it's you know, you have to have a situation where you know, you allow yourself to grow. And I think Houston they grew, but they didn't grow at the volume that they needed to.
I mean, I think just to coincide with what you're saying, it's kind of like, I mean, Houston, like, I mean, we still have Travis Scott, you know, and you know, Travis Scott, I don't know if we consider Travis Scott hip hop or whatnot, but like Travis Scott is probably the richest rapper out of, probably making the most money out of Houston like now, period. You know, he got Festival, he makes music that's totally coinciding with just a mixed culture on a nationwide base, and that's just one person. Whereas Atlanta has plenty. But I think that if Houston had the same kind of mindset that Atlanta had, it probably would have been just as big, for sure. I just think that Houston was, like I said, they just wanted to take over Texas.
It's interesting with it because in this scenario, if Houston got that push and became the talisman for the South, what do you think? Do you think how would hip hop kind of been recreated for Southern rap? You think, or I would say, or was it impossible though?
I would say this: Houston
have done it because New Orleans is sitting right there.
No, Houston. I would say this: Houston, to me, is the freestyle capital of the South. Period.
Okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? If you talk like Kyle, you tell me if I'm lying about this. Houston is the freestyle capital of the South. Like,
yes.
The screw tapes.
Yeah.
All the screw tapes are freestyles. All the classic artists that are local artists, their songs and their albums are freestyles.
Before you even go further, Cornelius, you also went to school at Southern. So
yeah, so I got that.
You just been new to Houston. You have been in
you've seen and heard it all.
Yeah, so my family lives in New Orleans. So like I grew up in like the early Cash Money, Big Boy Records, you know, when P first came back to New Orleans or whatever. So I got both Houston, New Orleans.
But also New Orleans does Houston get hurt because of a P being in New Orleans? Because of Cash Money being right there.
Nah, I mean,
and it's so those cities are only, it's like
not really, because I think at that time everybody was kind of fighting for position. They were fighting together to some degree, but they were fighting for position. So I mean, even like when you think about Cash Money and No Limit, they were fighting in their city for respectability as far as hip hop was concerned. So, you know, P was there and P had the tank rolling, and all of a sudden Manny Fresh comes through and he has a different sound than Beats by the Pound. So so now there's a competition, and then you got Atlanta, and then what we started to see was when we saw collaborations like Cast and UGK was when the South really got together. That's when it was a problem for everybody, because now, okay, David Banner's coming from Mississippi,
exactly.
And then we got this guy, we got T.I. over here, and these guys are collaborating, and now it's like it's a huge movement, and so now you can't get New York, you can't get Brooklyn and Queens on a record together.
I mean, I think like that. That's what one thing that made, I always call the South like South hip hop like gumbo.
Yes,
every state is different. Texas has its style. Louisiana has its. Alabama, Mississippi have theirs. Georgia has theirs, in Florida.
Dallas and Houston have different styles within Texas.
Oh, for sure, totally different styles. I mean, but again, I think the Houston's detriment, like Swisher House, I think was the only one outside of Rap A Lot, and so I think Suave got to deal with Jive. They got to deal with Jive. Yeah, so. Swisher House got to deal with, was that Universal or was that Priority?
Priority.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot like SUC, which is basically the catalyst for all like modern Houston hip hop. Screw wasn't worried about none of that. Screw was selling mixtape, like he was selling dope out the house. Yep. He wasn't even thinking about like distribution. He was selling tapes like people, like a dude selling drugs, which he could have went to a record label like, hey man, I'm selling 100,000 tapes a month. You know what I'm saying? And if he would have, I think a lot of Houston's lost hip hop era is because what Screw didn't do. But Screw was like, hey man, I can do it myself. I don't need to go major. Why am I gonna pay somebody for a deal I'm already getting myself? Like he literally selling 100,000 tapes out the house a month with his homeboys doing freestyles. Yeah. This ain't even full production.
This isn't. It's not mastered and mixed or nothing. Yeah,
this is me, you, Kyle.
With a condenser mic.
Yeah, Doja, you know, Sleepy, and you just putting on some songs, but hey man, go on the mic and just rap.
Yeah, just rap. That's
just
it.
rap.
Just rap.
Just rap. Whatever
then,
you want to rap about.
That music sounds even more enhanced when if you sipping lean or you high, I mean, the market was right there. And like you said, I mean, they just sold it.
It made me think, Kyle, and this question, you've been in Atlanta, was it the ability that Atlanta's record labels and their scene had more professionalism in it with LaFace and So Def, with Jermaine Dupri already having a background with his father being a concert promoter, and then you have LaFace, which is basically effectively a New York label coming to be in Atlanta. Was it, and I didn't even think about this, was it the professionalism of like, we know how to run a label and do this?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it was. Well, you know what? Yes and no, because and the reason why I say yes and no is because like in the beginning, like I moved here in '97, right out of college, and so the thing that was interesting was that the music was so it was the sound and the feel was bubbling, but you had to know somebody to get into Big Oomp's camp, or you had to know somebody to get into Organized Noise camp, or you had to know somebody to get in So Def's camp. You couldn't just say, "Hey, I'm 12 Kyle, the rapper. Let me get on." It wasn't happening like that. So even as the city was pushing forward, there was still some segregation as far as like we ain't letting everybody in. So to your point, there was a level of professionalism, but at the same time, everybody couldn't go rap in the dungeon. We heard about it, but your best bet was to try to catch people like Cornelius mentioned earlier. Catch them outside, because much like Houston, Atlanta is very accessible to its stars. And so, you might, like, I remember the first time I saw T.I. rapping. T.I. was at this little I can't even call it a hole in the wall, but he literally was outside of the club rapping, freestyling. And I mean, like, he had like a New York cipher around him. And
was this around I'm Serious time?
This is before that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, people just knew him as Tip. And so I and the whole hustling and dope boy thing, I had no idea. I just knew he was a little dude that could rap. So, so to answer your question, yeah, there was a level of professionalism, I think, that helped, and that helped going forward. But initially, Atlanta kind of had some of the same things or some of the same issues that Houston did. The only difference was that, like you said earlier, there was some New York influence as far as that was concerned, but also, what we saw happen at the Source with them getting booed. I don't think Atlanta was trying to prove itself, or artists were trying to prove themselves. They just wanted to be heard. That's it.
Yeah.
And so Drake said it best.
Yeah, and there was a huge resentment there. And you go back and watch that Source episode. I mean, like, there was just a huge resentment, and they never stopped to listen to the music, because if you listen to the music, you knew it was dope. But at the same time, like, I get it to some degree, because at that point New York was kind of hanging on by the slimmest of threads, because the West LA was killing them. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. By that time they were killing them. So we talking mid, and keep in mind, and I tell people this all the time, and people forget this, like UGK came out before Outkast. So, and I think they were on their second album by the time Cass dropped their first album, if I'm not mistaken.
Because it goes
Riding Dirty. Then Riding
Dirty was 96.
Riding Dirty 96. And Too Hard to Swallow was like 92, okay, maybe like 92, and maybe 92.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I remember because Pimp was on.
92. Too Hard to Swallow is 92. Super Tight is 92.
Super tight.
So see, they're already on their second album when Cass comes out in 94. Go ahead, what were you saying?
And Pimp was on the Dangerous Mind soundtrack.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And like,
Pocket Full of Stones is in Minister Society.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I just like being in St. Louis. Like, I remember growing up, listening to the radio. Like,
I mean, this, Cornelius, front, back, and front, side to side was a St. Louis legendary song.
It was Anthem. Right. Everybody's playing UGK.
I didn't even know who UGK was. I just knew that song was at every party, played it.
I remember when UGK came to the Palace.
Yep.
They came to the Palace. Like, I mean, St. Louis, I would say the influence on this. St. Louis influence on hip hop growing up was definitely Atlanta with crunk music. Mm-hmm. Memphis for sure. Mm-hmm. Heavy Memphis sound.
Yes.
Very, very heavy Memphis sound. And it was UGK.
And Bone. Bone
Thugs and Harmony.
Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like, I mean, people like my cousins that were older listening to Geto Boys, but like nobody my age was going around bumping Geto Boys. But UGK, oh my God, when that Riding Dirty came out, it was a rap.
Man, listen.
It was over. it was over.
It was
but to get back to your question in regards to about Houston, I think that again, like like Kyle said, like I don't think the goal was never to go nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
It was to conquer Texas.
Yeah.
They always wanted to be the best in Texas, where the Atlanta mindset, which I think is very, very true, because of the people who were running LaFace and So Def. They already had that influence. Like, hey, we trying to put a sound out for the world to hear.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't worried about the world. Screw wasn't worried about the world. When Screw said he trying to make the world hear Screw, he talking about Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people always forget that Jermaine Dupri had that cheat code, man.
Oh, absolutely.
His daddy was doing. He did. He was the head promoter for the Fresh Fest, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he already knew, like, because that's why people don't understand. He was managing what was it, Silk Times and Leather at like 19, and then when he found Chris Cross, it was like that's all he knows. I don't think he graduated high school.
No, I found that out when I watched when I watched the Kingdom building podcast video with he was on the Kirk Franklin thing. No, he didn't graduate high school. Okay. He didn't have to.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? He was already tapped in.
Yeah, already had money too.
He already had money. You know, like he don't have no. He has a more struggle coming through the industry than going through life.
Yeah,
because he just had to, he had to, make his bones. Once his dad saw that he was serious about it, he put that money behind him and just
because he's in the freaks come out at night video of people going to go back.
He definitely is.
He is. I mean, it's correct. I mean, and people, if the freaks coming out at night song is not it's not what you think. Younger people. It was a concert
go watch the video.
Yeah, go watch the video. They had some backstage stuff. And then not backstage like that, not backstage like Bill DeVoe said, backstage underage, not that.
Just let them watch
backstage. They were showing them pop locking and stuff backstage.
Yeah. it's kind of like watching Ice-T on Breakers. You know what I'm saying? On Beach Street. On Beach Street. It's like watching him on Beach Street.
Exactly.
If you see Ice-T on Beach Street, you be like, this is not the same.
This is not,
this is not LA Law.
This ain't even cop killer.
This ain't Law and Order. That's the same dude. Yes,
this ain't Colors.
Different iteration of that man. At some point, we want to tackle Ice-T because he's got like 5 lives.
He has a lot of lives. Blood, Crip.
Right.
Ice-T got to be like 63, 64 years old.
He's got to be 63, 64 years old. He's got like a 40-year-old son, I believe.
He got to be like 87.
So if in Atlanta hip hop, because you moved there, you said 93, right?
97.
97.
Oh, 97.
So
I'm still in school.
Yeah, you're still in school in 93. So in 96, because you moved there strictly off of Freaknik.
Straight because of Freaknik. I thought it was. I fell in love. I fell in love with the city. I was like, this is where I want to be. I was like, black people got money. The government, the local government was run by black people. Yeah, I came.
The Olympics just happened.
Yeah, Olympics had just happened. So I was, and I did not. You could not have told me that I would still be here. Some 28, 29 years later. So I mean, this is home, and it's always felt like home.
And so when you were there, were you like, man, Atlanta's finna get a run rap? Did you get that feeling, or when did you start getting like, you were around there? So before we knew as the rest of the world, Atlanta's run this. Did you see it like ahead, like, hey, Atlanta's finna run this rap shit in a second?
No, I didn't feel it like that because like you just didn't know. But the thing that I did feel was that there was a vibe here. And I because I was coming from South Carolina, obviously there was no vibe in South Carolina, but I was young, fresh out of college, had a couple of dollars in my pocket, didn't have a wife, no kids, and so Freaknik was a representation of what you could do. You could come here, you could get money, you could have a good time, and the hip hop scene was bubbling. Like I said, I didn't have kids, so I would go. Me and my roommate, we would go to hip hop clubs at least 2 or 3 times a week. And so like the music scene was just different. It was nothing like any other thing I'd ever seen before. And so, no, you couldn't have told me that, Atlanta would run hip hop. But the thing about it that I loved about it was that it was strictly Southern music, because I always talk about
country rap tunes.
Yeah, country rap tunes. I always talk about like one of the reasons why I love Outkast as much as I do is because for the first time, there was somebody that looked like me, somebody that sounded like me, somebody that talked like me, somebody dressed like me, and they didn't have to. You didn't have to put on Tim's and a bubble coat to be accepted. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, and so it made you feel proud to hear them and see them. And so that's what it was in the city. It was the same feeling and same vibe. And then as the years progressed, even moving into like the 2000s, we just started seeing more and more things happening in the city. And it was like a tidal wave, to be honest. Now, did I think that it could have happened like that? No, you wouldn't have told me in a million years, but I do know that there was a level of uncertainty, but there was a level of pride and a level of love that was here. And then you saw it manifest in the other MCs when they came up, because when you started tapping into other cities, Cornelius mentioned Memphis. When you started seeing 8Ball and MJG coming here making music with these guys, when you started seeing David Banner coming from Mississippi making music, and everybody was coming here and it wasn't no beef. There was a little beef between T.I. and Lil Flip, I think, but that was about it. So it wasn't like something where, and this is where I always say this is where New York slipped up at. New York never had that kind of camaraderie.
They had no unity. Never was some
none
unity
whatsoever. None whatsoever. You would never go on a Locks video set or video shoot and see like 5 other people from different crews or different boroughs or whatever like that. In Atlanta, if T.I. was shooting a video, Goody Mob was showing up. If Goody Mob was shooting a video, Outkast was showing up. I mean, like, I literally went to the Skewed on the Barbie video because Outkast said, hey, they were on the radio. They said, hey, we're shooting a video today at the House of Blues. Be there at 6:00. And the whole city showed up. I mean, that didn't happen. You couldn't do that in New York. And so
here.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think over a period of time, it was just seeing that. And I think that's how Atlanta kind of took off. But, being able to grow and then have your artists grow as well, it was beautiful to see. But I would not have ever guessed it. No, not in a million years.
And that's one thing I have to say about Houston. I was talking this earlier to my play brother. Like, one thing I love about Houston is that the radio station here, you hearing 90% local.
That's good.
Like when I say you gonna hear your Drakes, you gonna hear the stuff you hear on the radio, but it's gonna be local artists. And every summer they gonna come together to make some type of summer DJ Khaled style anthem. The song about 10 minutes long. It's gonna be every artist that show up that day, whenever they decide to lay it down, and they gonna play it all summer long. It's like again, it's a gift and a curse. You get tired. It's dope after a while. Be like after about 3 weeks, you be like, man, here it come on. You be like, man, I'm finna listen to this for about
it's 10 minutes. I mean, can we get 10 like minutes?
Exactly. And same thing about video shoots. Somebody shooting a video, everybody's showing up. They tapping into one thing Houston again is doing that Atlanta's already tapped to is like the movie thing, like Slim. Slim is getting into doing the movie thing. They got the Double Cup movie, him and Propane, who's a very popular artist out of Hiram Clark, who's been out for a minute, but finally getting his just due outside of Houston. They finally tapped into that movie realm. And if you do have a chance, Houston does have some really dope Tubi movies.
They do.
But as far as like hip hop artists, they really tapped into the movie thing or whatnot. And it's more so like the camaraderie of, like Kyle said, in the 90s, it was a very heavy North and South Houston beef. Swisher House versus SUC, South Side versus North Side, which they call plexing down here. That's what that plexing is the term you hear. If you hearing the song plexing, that means beef. That's that term for beef.
So that means I need to leave the place that I'm at.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Basically, hey man, they plexing over there. I mean, I got beef with that person over there. Yeah.
Time to go to the car, fellas.
It's time
to leave.
It's time to roll out. You know what I'm saying? So it was never but now it's kind of like a lot of those cats are older, and Houston has lost so many legends.
Yeah.
A lot of legends.
Yeah, because crazy Fat Pat and his brother Hawk both was killed.
Both was killed. Both was killed. Crazy situation.
Some people may not know, Big Hawk and Fat Pat was on. Fat Pat had that joint.
Tops Drop.
Yeah, Chops Drop, and then he's
Chops
also
Drop.
on my other joint, 25 Lighters with DJ DMD.
Hey, that's how the nation knows him. The nation knows him from 25 Lighters, but in Houston,
and what you call it? Well, you know, people know Hawk from him and Hawk want to be a baller.
Want to be a baller. No, that's Fat Pat. That's Fat Pat. That's Fat Pat. That's Fat Pat. And then swing to the left, pop my trunk, and yeah, that's Fat Pat. You know what I'm saying? Like that song's been that lyric itself has been redone. Like let me tell you how big. Just speaking on Fat Pat himself, and they just dropped the album. He just dropped a new album, maybe like a month ago, and it's solid, really, really good. And I'll send you guys a link to check it out. But like when the Texans win, when the Astros win, and when U of H win, Tops Drop is the first song, that comes on. And that's always to me been like the mystery of this city. It's like I've never seen a city, even like New York, even Atlanta. You know, I've never seen a city where so many rappers in their prime, like die.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Like 90% of the SUC is gone.
And people that's the funny thing. People don't really talk about it like that when they talk about, you know, the rappers who've transitioned or whatever like that.
Absolutely.
And that happened like relatively quickly in a very relatively short period
of time. Between 08, I say yeah, it started probably like, I'll say it back. Probably like 96 about probably like, man, 2012, 2013, like it was dropping like flies.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We just talking about the screwed up clique. I'm not even including like, you know, Pimp. You know, I'm just talking about screwed up clique members. Like people don't understand. Like they were talking about the Geto Boys was 9 members. Like screwed up clique was about 15, 20 cats.
They were like Wu-Tang for real.
Exactly, Wu-Tang for real. Just again, like we said, like just homeboys coming to Screw House, just hanging out, doing, like I'm saying, sipping on some drink and just freestyle. They didn't hang together. That's one thing I learned from Kiki looking at his interviews. Is like they weren't really partners. Outside, they were partners there who just rap. Like they didn't really hang out together outside of like they common denominator was Screw. You know, they weren't like, you know, you gonna catch them all together. I'm pretty sure they all were alive now since they would have had that relationship built upon their music, but like they weren't really like all friends outside of like, you know, being at Screw House and making music. That was the common thing that brought them together. Like Houston has a very solid scene. Like you know, like Kyle said about, you know, Atlanta had Free, we had the Kappa party. We had the Kappa Beach party. You know what I'm saying? You know,
does that still go on?
No, that's.
I mean, you know, black people can't get together.
They did Galveston. They did Galveston like they did Miami about 3 years ago. And once that happened, they shut it down. But like, you know, a lot of these cats are older. A lot of them don't make. The ones that we know about really don't make albums. They'll just do a song to like keep their name relevant. Like Paul Wall to do some stuff.
I love Paul Wall.
Keep your girl away from him, okay? I'm just telling you right now. Keep your girl. He got the comb over now. He ain't got the comb over. You know, he got the beard. You know what I'm saying? And keep your girl away from Paul Wall. But no, they're a lot older now. They're a lot more mature or whatnot, and like they all about, you know, trying to teach this younger generation in Houston. Like, you know, you have Quiet Dot Money, who has like, if you really like that 90s Houston screw music sound, he's probably my favorite person. Let's see, you got Lil Mario that's really, really dope. Sauce Walker. If you into that. And then, you know, Travis, like I was telling Daryl, like, man, Travis Scott is an enigma in himself, man.
That's true.
And I don't know if you consider that hip hop, but what he does for the culture, what he did with despite the accident, the tragedy that happened with his festival, and prayers go out to all their families who lost someone during his festival. But like what he was doing for the culture, as far as like his festival was a really, really big thing. I think that if Houston became the true hub of hip hop, I think the one thing Houston would have done better than Atlanta did was show you how to be independent on your own.
Yes. Yeah.
You didn't have to go corporate. You didn't have to go to LaFace. You didn't have to sign with So Def. You know what I'm saying? You could have been your own entity, your own money, and did your own thing. That's the one thing I think if Houston would have became the face of hip hop in the South, that's the one thing I think they would have taught Southern artists over what Atlanta did. Because every artist in Atlanta was striving to get to So Def, or striving to get to LaFace. Where in Houston, I just need the bubble. Like girls here, if I got to strip to make that money, I'm gonna do it. Like Just Brittany, other artists like that. If I got a trap to do it and I can come up, cool. But like here, they not trying to sign with no label.
What do you think about obviously when you mention labels, you'd be remiss if you didn't mention Jay Prince.
Absolutely.
What do you think about his influence all these years? Because Jay Prince probably is the first name that I ever heard, and I heard, Willie D and Scarface and Bushwick Bill talk about him because I got into the Geto Boys, I want to say in like 87. I was in middle school and I loved it. And like Scarface, man, listen, in my opinion, Scarface is top 10.
Mr. Scarface.
Bruh, listen. I was in middle school reciting Scarface, and I mean, like he's I think he's top 10. I think he's the great.
To me, he's the greatest down south rapper. Besides him and Andre.
I'm Doja. They sleep. Yeah, we part of Just Posted Podcast, man. The best show on this network. Come on, check, girl.
Seriously, man. Just Posted. It's just me and Doja sitting back talking about what the fuck going on in the world and the streets.
We said labor of love. He said labor of love. I ain't say that shit. Shout out to everybody coming to watch though, man. We really appreciate y'all. Holla at y'all later.
Hey man, this nigga just tall for no reason.
I'm gone.
And he do regular jobs. Don't forget that.
I got him over. I got him over Andre. I got him over.
I can say that. I can see that. I can see that.
So I say that. So my question is, what do you think? What about Jay Prince's influence on not just the music industry, but Houston in particular?
He's the boogeyman. No, but real talk. He is the boogeyman.
That's what people say.
He is. No, he's the boogeyman. Like for real. No, that's like straight up. That he is literally. I mean, the thing about Jay, like from my experience, like being here in Houston, like it's one of those things. It's like he's more. You hear the name more than you see the name.
Right.
And when you see him, it's kind of like you see the influence. It's kind of like, all right, I get it now. Do I think the influence is still the same? No.
Okay.
Because these young cats just don't respect. They don't respect rap a lot like we respected rap a lot.
Right.
But its impact, Houston hip hop wouldn't be Houston hip hop without Jay Prince, without James Prince. Period. Thanks. You can't take that away from him. But he is still the boogeyman. I don't care if you see him in Belize, whatever. He still is.
I never saw him the whole time I was in Houston. Never saw him.
I've seen him. He always does. He still has his boxing gym here.
Okay.
In the Fifth Ward, because he manages to sell a lot of boxers. Like all his boxers that he manages live in Houston. Like Shakur Stevenson live in Houston. Big Baby lives in Houston. They all still work out at his gym. So like he still has a major influence. I just think it's kind of the social media aspect kind of humanized him and kind of killed the aura of who he was. Cause like a lot of like T.I., like you supposed to be trapped T.I., but we see you on the internet, you pushing a stroller down the street, which is the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? But it just humanizes you. And with with age, generations change. But as far as his influence, he has the greatest influence. Like there wouldn't be a Tony Draper, there wouldn't be a Michael Watts, there wouldn't be a Screw, there wouldn't be a Sauce Walker. You know, there wouldn't be a lot of local DJ scenes like the hip hop scene. I wouldn't just say on a local hip hop scene. I would just say on a black entertainment scene in Houston, period. It wouldn't be the way it is in Houston without Jay Prince, because he had his hands in a lot of all that, and you have to give the man his credit, no matter how you personally feel about him. But his influence there's nobody who's been more influential than him,
no doubt.
And I know Pimp, people like to put Pimp up there, but Pimp worked for him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So Jay Prince is the Godfather. He is the GOAT. But he always pushed independent too.
Yeah, he did. And I mean, he pushed the Geto Boys. He got the Geto Boys together, and and he pushed them to do their thing individually and still come back. Even when the Geto Boys went their separate ways and came back for that last album, I mean, that
was the one with I can't remember one joint that it was actually supposed to be, I think, their first #1 single, rap single.
Okay,
The World Is Filled.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think. I think that was their first #1 rap song.
Is that the one they did for the movie? What's the movie they did in Gary? But with the old with.
No, you thinking Original Gangsters? No. This was like that was Original Gangsters, the one in Gary.
Okay.
Yeah, this song came out like 2003. Okay. And it's their first rap #1 single. Or rap #1 album. I forgot which one it was.
I would say this. Mine's playing like this is one thing. I never saw this song like this until I moved to Houston. The #1 Halloween song in Houston is Mine Playing Tricks.
Forever. It's everywhere. Everywhere.
They play that
everywhere.
You don't hear it all year on the radio till October. Once October come, they gonna play it like crazy.
They play it here all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, the Geto Boys is just their entity that's always been loved and respected. Absolutely. And we just because we came up in that era, and like I said, they were the first. For me, they were the first ones. I mean, Luke was right around the same time, but we didn't really. At least, let me just speak for me. I didn't view Miami bass the same as I did them because these dudes could rap. No disrespect to Luke and them, but I mean that was to me that what we used to call booty shake. It was booty shake.
It sounded more like hype. It sounded like more like hype music.
It was, to your point about crunk. It was, I guess, an earlier version of party music like crunk.
Yeah.
But no, Scarface was rapping his ass off. And it's funny, man, because it's funny because it's I remember, what was it last year when he did the Tiny Desk, and people were surprised. I'm like, yo, he's been doing this forever. Like, he ain't stopped. He's still dope. He's still dope. And if you get a chance to check him out, in concert, do so, because he don't come out a lot. But when he pops out, you definitely need to see him. And Scarface, I mean, again, it's one of my favorites.
Scarface did. That's one thing I hate that I missed locally. He did a live band concert, and I hate that I missed it. He did a live band concert. Actually, a good friend of mine, Donnie P, just did a DJ Screw house party.
Okay.
To commemorate Screw or whatnot. And like that's what I'm saying. Like, and like to piggyback what you're saying about like down south, it's like there's no area between Atlanta and Houston where I think more so Atlanta and Houston than New Orleans. Mm-hmm. I think New Orleans respects their OGs as much as Houston and New Orleans does. I mean Houston and Atlanta does. It's like the OGs here are truly respected.
And they should be.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if outside of if you're not Cash Money or, No Limit, and New Orleans has way other legends also.
Yes.
You don't get that respect. But in Houston and Atlanta, if you, Pastor Troy gets respect.
No question.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Big Mike is a New Orleans and a Houston legend.
Mm-hmm. And he gets respect. My joint from Big Mike.
Oh man, I'm listen, and that's the original. I'm serious.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even here in Atlanta, like a guy like Kilo Ali, who was hot. I mean, on fire, but he never blew nationally, but locally, and they still love Kilo Ali. Raheem the Dream.
Kilo Ali's got that song with is he got that song with Big Boy, Love in Your Mouth?
That sounds about right. I haven't heard it.
Right.
That sounds about right. That sounds like Kilo Ali song.
It does sound right.
That sounds like a Kilo Ali song. But yeah, I mean, like they've always gotten the love, and like I said, never blew nationally.
Love in Your Mouth is both of them. Yep.
Yeah, they never blew nationally, but you know, and even you know, like you said, losing, like we lost Rico Wade last year,
right?
And just seeing the outpouring of love.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, they had Rico Wade's funeral in Martin Luther King's church. You know what I mean? Like that type of level of respect, to be respected by mayors and dignitaries and people around the city, understanding the impact that you had. And Rico Wade wasn't a rah-rah type of guy, but he was very
influential.
Much, he was influential. And I mean, if there was no Rico Wade, we never hear Outkast. We never hear Goody Mob.
Never. I mean, it's kind of. I would say Trey is kind of equivalent to that, because Trey's story is very, very messed up, and I'm glad he's finally getting the respect that he ultimately deserves now through philanthropy. Mm-hmm. You know, Trey got banned from Radio 1.
Wow. Yeah. Oh yeah.
He got banned from Radio 1.
Didn't know that. Okay.
Trey the Truth was banned from like radio for a grip in Houston.
Yeah. So the story behind that was Trey always does a thing down here called Trey Day.
Mm-hmm.
For like back to school drive or whatnot. And at that time he did it at Texas Southern. It's always a back to school drive. He always has artists come in and perform.
Mm-hmm.
And there wound up being a shooting. And I'm not saying nothing that nobody already know. You look up on the internet. There was a young man who became very, very famous in Houston later who did that shooting. Ooh-wee. That's all I'm going to say is ooh-wee. All right?
Right.
And so the very popular morning show in Houston is the Mad Hatter morning show. And at that time, there was a comedian, young lady, who was on there, and she was like basically getting on Trey about there's violence, how you gonna have violence at the back to school drive, this, that, and the third. And he called up there, you know, and checked her.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't like that. Radio 1 was like, nah, we banned him. Not locally, but nationally. He was banned nationally.
Damn.
So he really couldn't put out music, but he had to get it out the mud.
Yeah.
And like when Harvey happened, this is when things kind of turned for him. When Harvey happened, he started doing a lot of philanthropy work or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like saving people from their homes, help people, you know, get out there.
Hurricane Harvey, folks.
Hurricane Harvey.
I know what you mean, but yeah, people don't know Hurricane Harvey.
And so he did a lot of philanthropy stuff and did a lot of like saving people during the hurricane, and like everything just switched for him.
Okay.
Everything changed for him in that aspect. And so, you know, it's things like that, you know, and a lot of rappers kind of like backed away from him doing his Radio 1 thing. Cause they're like, if you're on a song with Trey, we not playing your music either.
Wow.
So he was literally on an island by himself. And then after Harvey happened, he started being able, like, you know, the city was like, hey, we're not going for this. We're gonna stand behind Trey. And he been good ever since.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something that's a testament that I will say about both cities that I really, really love, is that the local artist scene is a little bit more unified than there is division. And that's the greatest asset I say about the South, than I say more so than you see in the Midwest or the East Coast or the West Coast. It's a lot more unity. And it's not one artist that does it in the city. It's just like, you'll see them all. Like I'm telling you, Sunday night in Houston on Alameda, you'll see them all.
1,000%.
You literally would see them all with the slabs, gold chained up, grilled out, double cupped up, like just hanging out. It's like regular people. I ain't talking about, ain't no security. Nobody has
none whatsoever. Yeah. None whatsoever.
They
just walking around.
Just walking around, just, you know, hanging out. And that's one thing I do love about it. But I would say, to answer the question, like, how would Houston be an impact? And I think this is probably would have helped hip hop if Houston would have been that hub. Is that it would have taught true independence, true music independence, because that's all Houston is. Like Slim don't have no label. I mean, Slim has a crew. He has Boss Hog Outlaws, which is a crew, but they none of them under him as far as music. Sauce has his own thing going. Maxo Cream has his own thing going. Quiet Dot Money. You know, Trey, Zero. You know, they all are independent artists. They don't have a distribution deal with anybody. It's 100% them. And that's something I think that a lot of artists need it. And I think, and I hate to put this on Atlanta, and I hope this don't come off. I hope this don't come off the wrong way. But that 360 messed up a lot of kids in Atlanta out of a lot of good opportunities. If they would have found out how to make independent music, they would have been fine. But I get it. I understand why you take that 360. Yeah. They just didn't understand what that 360 was.
Yeah. You get an argument from me. I mean, like that was a tough thing for music because like the internet changed everything. You know, how you could get money, you know, from your music changed everything. And so, you know, everybody was looking for way. And, you know, at that particular time, nobody, and they still can't tell you how much a stream is worth. You know what I'm saying? So, you had 15 million streams. How much did you make? I don't know. You know, so yeah, you're right. That those 360 deals really, really tough, man. And it's that was just a different change for hip hop. Hip hop is going to pivot a lot, and that was one of the years where it pivoted. And they're still trying to find their footing, you know. From that.
Do you think Atlanta has had a downfall, or you think it's just stagnant at the moment? Because it always gets kind of stagnant, and it just shoots off again. Do you think it's stagnant, or you think it's like, okay, it's kind of coming back to the realms of everyone else? It'll never be like it was before.
I think it's. I don't think it's going to be like how it was before. I think it's a little stagnant now. But I'll be the first to admit, I don't listen to a lot of the current music. So like, if Gucci Mane got a new album out, you could tell me about it. But I'm probably I ain't listen to it.
Not listening. Yeah.
So you know, and there's no disrespect to him or anybody else. It's just like my. I tell people all the time, like as far as my listening, my last wave of Atlanta music was the Jeezy, Gucci, T.I. wave. You know, the wave that came after that, Future and Migos. I'm familiar with it, but it's not something I was ever purchasing. But I think right now, what it's going to take is just that wave to come back a little bit. I'm interested to see how things go because this whole Young Thug Gunna thing, it kind of shook up the city from what I could tell based on based on what I know. And that ain't a lot, but I know a little bit. So, you know, but that was getting street shit involved with business shit. You know what I'm saying? And so the streets
you can't
and
mix the same.
You can't mix
the same.
And you know, much like, you know, other places, you know, Atlanta's big, but it ain't that big. You know what I'm saying? Houston is huge. I had no idea till I moved there. Where Houston is huge and it's spread out, but music-wise, it ain't that big.
Oh yeah, it's a small culture.
You're going to run into some of the same people. They're going to be in the same clubs. They're going to be in the same neighborhoods. They're going to be in the same malls, same restaurants. So, you know, you don't ever want to bring street into, you know, what you do as far as business is concerned. I would say right now Atlanta's a little stagnant, but I think that's just based off of, I think people are kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with this next wave with Gunna, Migos, Future, those acts when they come back, what the music. 21, I think, just had an album come out. I ain't heard it. They ain't gonna hear it, but I know it's out.
I can tell you what I think Atlanta needs.
What's that?
It's one thing that we have that Atlanta doesn't have right now: a popping female artist.
Damn, I'm trying to think. Who's the last popping female artist?
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Lotto.
She from Atlanta?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, would you
she's from Gwinnett? She's from Gwinnett County. She's
okay.
Would you consider Lotto and Meg kind of neck and neck?
No, I think Meg is bigger.
No, Meg is international.
Yeah,
man.
I think Meg is like
Meg's more national, not nationally.
Meg is probably she's on a tier below Cardi and Nicki.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's that second tier, right?
But now if you're talking rapping, Meg can rap her ass off. I would put her over Cardi.
Oh, no, Meg can
I put Lotto over Cardi, low key.
Oh,
really?
Like Lotto and Meg
Lotto
can actually rap.
Yeah, rap.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying about like Houston culture. Like, you have to know how to freestyle.
Yeah.
We are a freestyle city.
And a lot of people don't freestyle anymore.
Yeah, like Houston is a like literally to show you how like real it is here, like on 97.9 every Sunday night. And you can attest to this, Kyle. 9 o'clock on Sundays.
Yep.
Screw Hour. Michael Watts. Nothing but screw. Freestyles. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
Freestyles. Houston freestyles.
You gotta be able to freestyle.
You gotta be able to freestyle. If you can't freestyle, you will not make it here. You got ain't nobody talking about no writing. Nah, man.
Right. And see, like if I told Quavo to freestyle, I don't think Quavo's got to freestyle.
He can't do it.
Yeah, and we just it's different for us because we came up in an era where it was important that you could freestyle.
Right. Because it showed your skill and your talent.
Exactly. And I think, I think that's probably more of a byproduct of where we are as far as rap is concerned, as far as today's rap. But no, to your point, Cornelius, you got to be able to, in Houston, you got to be able to rap.
You got to listen, man. You won't stand the test of time. You won't make it, man. I'm telling you. You literally, bro, like, I've seen girls outside at the club playing 25 lighters instrumental, just freestyling in a circle. You know what I'm saying? Just talking about like their day. Like that's literally like this is a freestyle city. Like if you listen to the millions, and there's a lot of screw tapes, a lot. They are all free. If they're not freestyle, they are old school songs that were mixed and blended, chopped and screwed. That's all they are. These are not songs that were sitting down. Hey man, we finna do Don't Mess with Texas, Kiki. 3 in the morning. I want you to do 3 in the morning. The song name 3 in the morning. I need you to give me a hot 32. Nah, man. Hey man, go in here and rap. It just happened to be that the song is called 3 in the morning. Like for real. Like, I'm just telling you the truth. Like, the whole Don't Mess with Texas was freestyles, just became songs.
Gotta rap. Gotta be able to rap.
Gotta be able to rap, man. If you can't rap, bro, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it.
Let everybody know where they can hit you up at, man.
Well, of course, I'm in H-Town, St. Louis representative, always. Simply Champagne Master on Champagne_Master on Instagram.
Yeah, he's the only black champagne sommelier in the state of Texas.
Absolutely. First and only African American champagne sommelier in the state of Texas. First African American champagne importer in the world. You can check out my website, SereneChampagneSelections.com, and we'll be coming to a city and a state near you. I gotta send Kyle and Daryl some bottles for show.
Please do. I love champagne.
Oh man, I gotta talk to Kyle about the story about Branson B. Daryl knows the story about Branson B, and he getting out of jail soon. So I'm trying to connect. Branson B. Oh, okay.
So from Branson, for Branson from New York?
Yeah.
He was in jail?
He was in jail. I just actually found that out watching Jada Kiss and Fat Joe.
I had no idea. I ain't heard that name in a minute.
I ain't heard Branson. I mean, you told me that Branson was the one that actually brought champagne to hip hop.
He brought champagne to hip hop. He was actually I didn't know he was in jail. I thought he got moved over to the to weed, to the marijuana, like legal marijuana thing. And but I don't know what happened. I just happened to hear the name doing listening to Fat Joe, and I hope that's not true. I hope I heard it wrong. But based upon what I heard on the podcast with Fat Joe and Jada, that they said he's getting out. So they said exactly Branson B, and I was like, I call him my Branson B because, like, that he the one who shaped my childhood with champagne. But I'm hopefully, if that's true, I hope he gets out soon, and I'm still gonna find him. if I got to go to New York myself and pull up on the block,
I know that's right.
I just got to hear his Champagne story. But no, Champagne_master. Follow me on Instagram. And my business is Serene Champagne on Instagram. And all glory to the Most High and God for these opportunities. And Happy New Year to everyone.
For
All
sure.
right, Kyle, where can people hit you up at, man?
You can hit me up on social media, 12 Kyle Podcast. New episodes drop every week. The 12 Kyle Podcast and Rap Soul Podcast have two different podcasts. The Rap Soul Podcast, we talk about hip hop and rap from hip hop, rap, and soul from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s.
I got to get on
2010s?
No, 2000. No, I'm cutting it off in the 2000s, man. That's when it kind of fell off after.
Yeah, around 08.
Right.
When we got the stanky leg, that's when it was.
When they start dancing in white tees, man.
Halle
Berry.
Yeah, so I'm a little. I kind of stay in my wheelhouse as far as the music and artists that we talk about, but yeah, we do a little bit of that. This at the time of this recording, this week's episode, we talked about New York hip hop culture songs.
Yeah, I just saw your clip on Instagram. Kyle is on there talking about Shook Ones, makes him one up and go rob somebody.
Man, listen, if you listen to Shook Ones,
Detroit,
Shook Ones will make
Detroit.
Yeah,
Detroit. That was my man in Detroit's intro song for this show. That wasn't just by happenstance on 8 Mile. Like that's
exactly. Shook Ones, Annie Up will make you want to rob somebody, man. I'm telling you. So you got to be careful when you listen to that music.
Get that fool.
And here's the funny part. Like I always hear this story. Hear historians talk about it when they would go to the. I mentioned it on the episode. When they would go to the world famous tunnel club tunnel.
Oh my God!
The robbing theme was when they would play Go Stetzer by Stetzer Sonic.
Right.
Dudes would tuck their chain. You had to tuck your chain in when Go Stetzer got played.
Because somebody was going to get robbed.
You was going to get robbed. You was going to get your chains. Yes, Go Stetzer. And if you've heard the song, like there's nothing gangster about Go Stetzer.
That's what I'm saying. Like what?
But it's just a hard old school beat. And man, they say Brooklyn kids used to be in there just yanking chains back in the day, back in the tunnel. The tunnel was a place that you could go have the time of your life or you could die. And people showed up every week.
Oh yeah.
That in the Latin Quarter.
Yeah, definitely Latin Quarter. So yeah, man, y'all check me out whenever y'all get a chance. I'm everywhere.
I gotta check you out, Kyle.
Please do.
It's always linked up in the Hip Hop What If. So you just click on that. You can get to all his stuff.
New episodes
thank y'all for listening as always. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back soon.
Peace.
What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Is, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Ifs.